It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by Ouachita Valley Respiratory Care, where you can breathe a little easier, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. For you ladies who love wrestling, here is a condensed history of women's wrestling. During the first half of the 20th century, women's wrestling in the U.S. was more of a special attraction. In the 1930s, Mildred Burke, a promising young female wrestler, started out wrestling men at carnivals, due in no small part to her muscle development. She wrestled over 200 of them, only losing to one. Trained by her second husband, Billy Wolfe, Burke held the NWA World Women's Championship for almost 20 years. In the early 50s, she formed the World Women's Wrestling Association and recognized herself as the first champion, although the championship would be vacated upon her retirement in 1956. The NWA, however, ceased to acknowledge Burke as their women's world champion in 1954, as Burke herself was locking horns with the company over its treatment of women, and instead acknowledged June Byers as champion after a controversial finish to a high-profile match between Burke and Byers that year. Upon Byers' retirement in 1964, the Fabulous Moolah, who won a junior heavyweight version of the NWA World Women's Championship a few years earlier, was recognized by most NWA promoters as champion by default. In 1956, Moolah, a protege of Mildred Burke, had become the NWA Women's Champion, a reign she held for 28 years. By the early 80s, the WWF had already lured some of the top stars from the territorial promotions, a number of them women, including the Fabulous Moolah, who became the first WWF Women's Champion. At the height of WWF Mania came the Rock and Wrestling Connection storyline involving Moolah, Wendy Richter, Captain Lou Albano, and pop star Cyndi Lauper. The last straw, however, was Richter's deteriorating relationship with the WWF, and Moolah, donning a mask as the Spider Lady, regained the belt. Richter was never told she would be losing the title and fell victim to a real-life screwjob finish known as the original screwjob. Richter promptly quit the WWF afterward, while Moolah continued to be champion for another 2 years, excluding a 6-day reign by Velvet McIntyre during a tour of Australia in 1986, before losing the belt to Sherry Martel in 1987. Moolah, who died in 2007, went on to become the first female WWF Hall of Famer and became the WWF Women's Champion for the last time in 1999 at the age of 76. However, in the years since Moolah's death, allegations surfaced that she had exploited her proteges both financially and sexually. It was during the 90s that the Attitude Era was commonplace in WWF, bringing such female wrestlers as Sable, Trish Stratus, and of course Chyna to prominence. Since then, WWE, as the company is now called, and other promotions, including NWA, AEW, ROH, plus smaller outfits, have employed a strong number of women wrestlers. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me every Monday through Friday morning for Trivia Tracks on Fox Sports Camden 97.1.